Lutnick or Navaroo or Bessent, they have been joining in these very, very objectionable attacks on India. Now, Trump has also said yesterday or today, whenever it was, yesterday, that he has very good personal relations with Modi. He's been saying that all along. He's never attacked our prime minister personally, but he said that I impose 50% tariffs on India because they buy oil from Russia. Now the proof of the pudding would be if he walks back from these tariffs. To begin with, penalty tariffs, and then if when we have a trade agreement, then we can see whether the 25% tariffs which were imposed on us, would be reduced. Now, he has said that Modi is a close friend, and he rejected that the US had lost India. So he has said something positive, to which the Prime Minister has reacted. And rightly so, because the idea is to bring the temperature down. Our hope would be that after Trump has said this, his minions will calm down a bit because they are getting inspiration from Trump himself. Now, if that happens, then slowly, slowly we can pick up the reins that have been loosened by Trump's needless attacks and see what happens. But as I said, nothing will dramatically change unless unless the 50% tariffs that have been imposed on India are removed. Now, when they will be removed, on what conditions they will be removed, that will be something which we'll have to see in the weeks to come. Well, I would not, test the success of our foreign policy simply because of what happened in Tianjin or the exchange of messages between Prime Minister and Trump. I think the foundations of our confident, self-confident, successful foreign policy have been laid in previous years by the Prime Minister. And I think he has put India on the world map very successfully. And at the SCO, in fact, in a sense, he stole the show because the Western media were all covering his meeting with Putin and Xi Jinping together, and the photograph that was put out. In that sense, he sent a very powerful message to the international community and to the Americans about India's options and where we can also, in terms of securing our interests, develop ties progressively with other power centers in the world. Now, Trump initially reacted very negatively, saying that we have lost India and both Russia and India can go and have a relationship with the deep, darkest China. Even when he's reaching out to China and he wants to visit China and meet Xi Jinping this year. So he's very contradictory in his things. But nevertheless, since he said something positive about our Prime Minister and saying that we have not lost India, so our Prime Minister took the opportunity in order to lessen the tensions that have developed. He reacted well. And our foreign minister has been very sober in his assessment that we continue to engage the United States, and he didn't want to say anything more because, as I said, the litmus test would be whether he removes what he now calls the sanctions on India by imposing those 25% additional tariffs. Look, we have to be very clear-headed in these matters. Europe has lost its strategic autonomy in the manner in which they have been put aside, marginalized by Trump, and they have actually buckled. You've seen the photographs of European leaders sitting like school children before a headmaster in Washington. Now, they have also, don't forget, I mean, we should be very clear-headed. They have sanctioned Niara Energy, and Lutnick is actually now telling them to stop buying oil from Russia. And there are voices like Navaroo's, which want Europe also to apply sanctions on India. And Europe has made the issue of buying oil from Russia part of our talks. If you see what Costa said in a similar post, that's also very odd. Both the leaders have an identical post where they talk about relations with India, this and that, but they bring in the whole issue of Ukraine and India buying oil from Russia and try to put the burden on our shoulders for pressing Russia to end the conflict, even while they themselves have absolutely no what should I say, inclination to find a diplomatic way out by promising more and more finances and weapons to Ukraine. And their basic position remains the same, that Russia is a threat and Ukraine has to be supported to the hilt, because Russia's victory in Ukraine would be a disaster for Europe. So I would say that we have to watch out whether in our discussions on an FTA and this and that, they don't very subtly link the whole issue of our relationship with Russia and buying oil with progress in our FTA. So I don't think we should we should close our eyes to some of the signals that we are getting from Europe too. Well, you've seen what Trump said. He didn't give any indication that he is going to withdraw the 50% tariffs. He said that he's very disappointed that India is buying oil from Russia, and that's why they imposed the 50% tariff. And then went on to say that he has got very good personal relations with Prime Minister Modi, which is a fact. And as I said earlier, despite all the things that have occurred in our relationship recently in terms of insulting language from the US side, uh, Trump has said nothing negative about our prime minister. So it is within the framework of his approach to India to hit India as a tariff king, as he's been saying, and say all sorts of things that that India sells so much to them and they sell nothing to India, and relationship on the economic side is a disaster and this and that and that. But he says nothing against Prime Minister Modi, so he's leaving that door open of his personal equation with the Prime Minister, which is a good thing. And the Prime Minister has taken the opportunity to say in return, and I think the message is that I also value my ties, my relationship with you, and my relationship with the United States. But without having need to say this, he is not precluding that we'll continue also to look at other options and continue to buy oil from Russia.